Friends, we are about to start the second academic session of the second day of this conference. And this session is being chaired by Venerable Khenpo Phonsom Tashi, Director, Royal Museum, National Museum of Bhutan. May I request Dr. Tashi to come to the head table, please. We have got 3 presentations in this session, and I'll announce the name and request them to come to the head table. Mohammad Shaheen Alam from Bangladesh, Mr. Samarendra Kumar, Director, Natural Science Museums, Kolkata, India, and Dr. Mohammad Farooq Hussain, also from Bangladesh.
Good morning to everybody. In Bhutanese we call Kuzusampolas. Mama Saturdi, Ayubawan, these 2 sentences I have learned this morning. Each participant has 20 minutes each, so 3 participants will have altogether 1 hour. Then 30 minutes we are having discussions, question answer, Q&A sessions. So I hope we will start off papers. The first, from Bangladesh, Mr. M.D. Shaheen Alam. His papers, Management of Archaeological Museums in Bangladesh, Perspective of the Museums in Khulna Regions. So may I request and present your papers.
Welcoming all the presenters in the conference, I am going to present my paper. The title of my paper is Archaeological Museum Management in Bangladesh, Perspective of Museums in Khulna Region. Department of Archaeology collects different antiquities of the country by their exploration and excavation. This department also studies with the archaeological history of this land by protection, conservation research, publication displays them in the museum. In 1861, Archaeological Survey of India was launched after Bangladesh freedom. It was named as Department of Archaeology. In 1983, regional offices in 4 divisions with head office in Dhaka were established by divisional rearrangement. Borisal and Khulna were included in Khulna region. There are 16 museums of this department in the whole country. Of them, 6 museums are in Khulna region. Before telling the management system of Archaeological Museum in Khulna region, I want to say about policy review. For protection, conservation, research, publication and display of the antiquities of the cultural heritage, several policies have been taken in different times in Bangladesh. Of them, the policies of this country regarding the antiquities of the cultural heritage are Article number 15, 23, 23A and 24 as a policy are included in the Constitution of the People's Republic of Bangladesh 1972. I am going to tell about article description. According to article number 15, it shall be a fundamental responsibility of the state to attain through planned economic growth, a constant increase of productive forces, and a steady improvement in the material and cultural standard of living of the people. According to Article number 23, the state shall adopt measures to conserve the cultural traditions and heritage of the people and so to foster and improve the national language, literature and the art, that all sections of the people are afforded the opportunity to contribute towards and to participate in the enrichment of the national culture. According to Article 23A, the state shall take steps to protect and develop the unique local culture and tradition of the tribes, minor races, ethnic sects, and communities. According to Article number 24, the state shall adopt measures for the protection against disfigurement, damage, or removal of all monuments, objects, or places of special artistic or historic importance or interest. Apart from adopted articles of the Constitution, the policies which adopted in this country are the Articles Act of 1968, Amendment 1976. The mentionable aspect in this art, ancient means belonging or relating to any period to the preceding 100 years. Antiquity means any ancient product of human activity, movable or immovable, illustrative of art, architecture, craft, custom, literature, morals, politics, religion, warfare, science, or of any aspect of civilization or culture. Any ancient object or site or historical, ethnographical, anthropological, military or scientific interest, and any other ancient object or class of such object declared by the central government by notification in the official gazette to be an antiquity for the purpose of this act. In accordance with the articles of the Constitution and the Antiquities Act of 1968, Department of Archaeology as a government institution adopts the exploration and excavation for the search and collection of cultural heritage. Antiquities regarding cultural heritage found are not only protected, conserved, researched, published, but also displayed in the museum led by this department. The movable antiquities like Hindus and Buddhist images or statues, inscription potteries, terracotta plaques, ornamental bricks, photographs of important historic buildings, etc. are displayed in the museums led by this department. The immovable antiquities like the places and houses of special artistic or historic importance or interest are also displayed by this department. I introduce with museums in Khulna region, a traditional museum, its location is in Majidchori, Khulna. Baghat Museum, Baghat, Khulna, Michael Modushan Dottobari, Balkis House, Shagadari Jashur, Rabindra Kutibari in Shilaiga, Kustia, Sheribangla Memorial Museum, Chakhan Borishal, Tokriti Library, Fultala, Khulna. Next, it's a map, archaeological museums in Khulna region. I try to show. It's the figure of Traditional Museum, Khulna. It was built with the financial aid and of the People's Republic of Bangladesh. It is such an archaeological museum which display different types of artifacts found in archaeological sites of Bangladesh. Firstly, West Divisional Museum accommodates 6 galleries for its exhibition. They include Hindus and Buddhist images, inscription potteries, terracotta plaques, ornamental bricks, photographs of important historic buildings, and so on of Bangladesh. I am on current charge of this museum. It's a Baghdad Museum. It was built with the collaboration of UNESCO aided development program First West. Baghdad Museum accommodates 3 galleries for its exhibition. They include inscriptions, potteries, terracotta plaques, ornamental bricks found in archaeological sites of Baghdad and photographs of important historic buildings of Bangladesh. Sher-e-Bangla Memorial Museum. It is built with the financial aid of Bangladesh government in front of the paternal house of Sher-e-Bangla A.K. Fazlul Haq, who is the undisputed leader of Indian subcontinent. Facing south, this memorial museum accommodates 2 galleries for its exhibition. Most of the exhibits belong to A.K. Fazlul Haq. They include photographs of Sher-e-Bangla, letters written by Sher-e-Bangla, memorandum given to Sher-e-Bangla, and objects and furniture used by Sher-e-Bangla. Michael Madhusudan Dattobari. The great poet Michael Madhusudan Datta is well known to all. This poet was born at this house on 25 January 1824. It is currently being used as a memorial house museum by Department of Archaeology. Most of the exhibits of this museum belong to Madhusudan Datta. They include photographs of Madhusudan, objects and furniture used by Madhusudan and his family, and other artifacts found in the excavation of the house and Joshua locality. Rabindra Kutibari, Kustia. Rabindra Kutibari is a historic monument where the great universal poet and the Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore lived to administer his paternal estate. In 1968, Department of Archaeology took the responsibilities of the Kutibari after the completion of conservation of it under the Department of Archaeology of Ministry of Cultural Affairs was declared as the protected monument by the government in 1968. Now it is a Tagore Memorial House Museum undertaken by this department. Rabindranath Tagore's photographs of childhood, youth and old age are exhibited here. Some paintings and named Nishabda means nature, Nishabda means silence, and Shonali Shunda means golden evening, painted by Tagore, are displayed here. Furniture such as an easy chair, sofa set, table and coat used by Tagore are exhibited here. Dokhili Roybari. Dokhili Roybari is well known by name of father in the house of world famous poet Rabindranath Tagore. It is protected as a remaining monument of a famous person. It is currently being used as a memorial house museum by Department of Archaeology. All of the exhibits of the museums also belong to Rabindranath Tagore. They include photographs of Rabindranath Tagore and his family. Next, I am going to say about the management system of this museum. Museum governance. Various positions within the above told museum carry out the policies and duties assigned by the Department of Archaeology. The custodian and the assistant custodian are responsible to the Department of Archaeology for the administration of the museum. Apart from office assistant, museum attendant, booking clerk, security guard, peon, sweeper, and gardener are the supporting positions of the museum. I will tell you about the responsibility of custodian and assistant custodian as a key positions of this museum. The custodian and the assistant custodian are responsible for the collection of the artifacts, writing the text labels for exhibitions, the care and maintenance of all objects in the museum collection, tracks movement of objects in and out of the museum, and records information about objects in database such as and objects provenance. They oversee the accessioning process, which formally aspects object into the museum's collection with an accession number and still record. They design and install the display under the supervision of the regional director or director general of the department. Although there are no the post of the collection manager, collection register, and security officer in the organogram of the archaeological museum, the custodian and the assistant custodian play an important role of this post. Museum display. Archaeological museum is specialized in the display of archaeological artifacts in Khulna region. Rabindra Muthi Bari, Dokhili Rai Bari, and Michael Modushan Dotto Bari as Memorial House Museum are displayed in the open air. But artifacts concerned Rabindranath Tagore are displayed inside Rabindra Muthi Bari and Dokhili Rai Bari. Artifacts concerned Michael Modushan Dotto are displayed inside Michael Modushan Dotto Bari. Artifacts found in archaeological sites are displayed inside Divisional Museum and Baghat Museum buildings. Artifacts concerned Sheribangla Ekut Fauzi Haq are displayed inside the Sheribangla Memorial Museum buildings. Wooden pedestals are used for displaying the art sculpture like different stone images or statues. Showcases with glass are also used to display small and big artifacts like terracotta plaque, ornamental brick, sculpture, photographs, etc. Every antiquity with written label is displayed in the archaeological museums in Khulna region. It's an example of display of stone images. It's a display of photographs. It's a display of pottery. Display of wooden object. I want to tell something about museum education. For museum education, there is no separate position and division in the museum led by the Department of Archaeology. Two types of museum education are mentioned in the book named Museum Basics by the Timothy Ambrose and Crispin Payne, published by ICOM. Within the museum, leveling and exhibiting practice, school visit program are regularly followed in archaeological museum in Khulna region. Brochure on antiquities and museums published by department are available in this museum. Art and essay competition based on antiquities or museum for children as and under consideration as future activities of this museum. Here, leveling of antiquities of this museum as an education program. Next slide is school student visit museums as a school program under museum education. Outside the museum, it was not developed. Mobile exhibition and media communication, virtualization as seminar on antiquities or museums, these are under consideration of future activities. Publication regarding museum. Journal, brochure, report and book, photographs, posters are available in this museum. visitor management, I have a lot of time, I can say now. Museum security, I can say something. The constant presence of the museum attendants in every gallery is ensured during visiting hours of the museums. The constant presence of the security guards inside the museum is ensured during both visiting and closing hours of the museums. CCTV cameras is used in the gateway and the galleries of the museums, and metal detector is used in the main gateway of the museums. Both arrival and departure of the security guard and the museum attendants are recorded. Will I finish? After visitor preparedness are museum. The terms both visitor and visitor preparedness are well known to us. For that, I want not to describe about this. Here, before the emergency, we follow this, and during emergency, follow this. After the emergency, the challenges faced in museum, there are a lot of challenges in museum. By I want to quote some competition, lack of knowledge on archaeological museums, lack of well-trained staff, change of technology, and funding. But due to scarcity of time, I could not describe properly. Thanks to all.
The second paper presenter is Mr. Samar Indra Kumar from India. So his papers, presentations will be promoting culture of science among the millions, NCMSM initiatives.
Honorable Chair, members of the dais, and distinguished gathering here present. I am Kumar from National Council of Science Museums in India, and I'm just giving it up this promoting culture of science amongst millions, because the kind of people we reach through our initiatives. I'm trying to give a brief on that in the broad topic of museum in education and learning. This National Council of Science Museum is under Ministry of Culture, Government of India. It's an autonomous organization, and we have a very sound database kind of thing. So when I describe this thing, so okay, I think this is the basic definition, and I take that word only the education, because that is connected with the not only museums but all kind of such kind of non-formal education. So I think from basic definition of ICOM, though you may change anything, but I think the basic word can remain the same. This education is one of the major objectives of the any museums of any kind. This is a word cloud. Actually, I would like to bring that because it's in 2013 in the Britain think tank for Museum Association, about 400 museum professionals and also the public. They gave this what are the things which museum can do, and this was about public perception of to the purposes and the museums in society, attitudes and purposes. So if you see very clearly, the bold letters define that people are now thinking about antiquities. We cannot think museum beyond that. But now the things are changing in the global world. In 2013, we are talking about 21st century. So many things are coming across, where the objects, the individualization, the experiential, the base, the facilities, the exploration, e-exploration, schools, so personalized kind of things. So these are the things which people have thought about that, and I think it's relevant to all the museums all across India, in the world in fact. I think I'm not going into details, but I think learning is critical for museum because for so many things, the self-directed learning in the setting, and museums are the places for learning. But I think that I will go to the last one, that imparting new skills to 21st century population to meet the challenges of creative or the innovative economy. I will come to details about that a little later. I will not go into detail, but I think this is the major purpose of education. You are trying to impart skills, knowledge and attitudes, and how museums fit into this.
So that is very important, that how museums fit into this particular category of education as such. These are the so-called pillars of education, where we are trying to learning to know, cognitive development, psychomotor skill development, learning to live with social skills, and learning to be know yourself importance. So I think this all cognitive, social, physical, and intellectual activity which can be learned through this education as such. There is a lot of debate on education and learning also, but I think Oscar Wilde very well said that education is an admirable thing, but it's well to remember from time to time that nothing that is worth learning can be taught. So I think there is a very complex thing in the museum setting also, what we try to learn in the museums also. But I think the objective of education should be learning and not teaching as such, which was practiced in the standard formal education 19th and 20th century. How it is changing very fast and how museum is entering into this education system, that's important to discuss and think about that. This I particularly want to tell that because we are discussing in the modern world, the 20th century trend, we have accelerated social, economic, political and education changes happening all across the world. We are shifting from industrial economy from 19th century, where we are producing workers for others, and we are shifting to knowledge, creative or innovative economy. New sets of requirements to cope up with these challenges, and I think people are moving from the formal education system to non-formal education system for that purpose, and people of all ages are seeking a diverse range of learning experiences to inspire, guide and enhance their personal, professional lives for success in work and life. These are some of the, actually I would like to quote that, this is a report on museums and libraries and 21st century skills, IMLS in 2009, and they have quoted in what are the important skills for the 21st century people. This learning and innovation skill is there, information and media technology skill, life and career skills, and many other things can be adopted, can be taught through museums, and museums are different kinds. And I would like to quote that civic, health, environment, financial, this literacy, I think you must have heard that in India we are just focusing on some of these aspects because we thought that is very important for the 21st century. We are talking about the civic, the sanitation is one of the major campaign in India by our Prime Minister, he has taken that. We have focused on digital literacy, which is very important. The scientific and technological literacy is also important that, and we are trying to focus on that through our science museums. So this we are trying to impart that, and how NCSM is just taking that interventions and playing a major role in that intervention, I would like to share with you. I will not go into detail with that because that may be the paper which is there. But this is how from the school and museums it's different. So that is very important because how museums can come into play. That whether it is a free choice, yes it is free choice in the non-formal system. You have object relations, but it's basic text. I think it's teacher-centered to learner-centered. That is the thing difference which we coming into the learning in these schools and museums. This is the whole gamut of the whole education system where we have non-formal, informal, and the formal education system which is there. But it's important that why we should emphasize on non-formal education, because these museums are trying to provide. It's lifelong because now even learned people, they want some kind of education at all the time. So it is very important that we have this kind of learning rather than teaching. So we are not teaching anything to them because everybody understands a lot of things about that. It's a self-directed, it's a free choice learning setting there. Optimum loading on freedom of learning. So that's very important that you are not trying to impose many other things. Encourages individualized work pattern. Flexibility for learning as per learner needs, motivation, which is very important in today's context. At learner's pace and convenience. So you are giving a kind of physical environment where he can learn because at his own pace. And all possible media and effective means of communication, whether it's audiovisual, multimedia, digital and other learning materials. And it's a low financial input because you are not investing too much on this formal system as such. So this is important from that. Now I come to that how we are trying to promote through our various, and just briefly give out what National Council of Science Museum is there in India. This National Council of Science Museum is one of the largest network of science centers in the world. Science museum, science centers in the world, I like to tell you. Creator of 48 science centers, science cities, and 2 centers outside India, one in Mauritius and one in, just now in Kandy we have set up another museum there. We are working in various other countries also. right now we have started work for 5 science centers and 1 science city, and 18 new science centers to be completed by 2017. 37 new proposals are pending from different states. We have annual visitor footfall of 13.5 million plus, which includes about 3.5 million children. So that is very important that we are catering to about more than 3.5 million. Longest and largest extension program of 23 mobile science exhibitions for rural areas. So we are covering that particular thing. Open 360 days in a year. So because we are talking about 24/7, only 2 days in a year we are closed, depending on the place. Holi and Diwali is 2 days. But these are the things which, as a volunteer. Here, some of the things which I want to emphasize that because it's a part of that scientific attitude and temper. It is in our constitution. It has been mentioned that there is a need to promote scientific temper, and it's part of our fundamental duty that organization and institutions should promote this scientific temper. So we have taken cue from that. We have also to collect, preserve, and this important historical objects which represent landmarks in development of science, technology, and industry, and portray of science and technology heritage, which is very, very important. Okay, as just for collection part of that, we have a lot of such kind of collections in our science centers in various places. We have some of the oldest kind of thing which is there in the first computer which came to India, and in about 1917 or so. So that is our part of collection. The steam engine which has gone out. Probably the children will not see this kind of things there. They may have, but probably now when the digital age is coming to, and probably this may inspire many of the young children to do. This is the broad gamut of activity what we do. We do a lot of development, but I think education is one of the important aspects of our science center. This is how the growth of science centers and museums in India has done. From 1950 we started with one. The first science center in Kolkata was started, Science Museum, which was called Science Museums. And in fact from 78 onwards we have changed from the Science Museum to Science Center because it was activity oriented. Because the worldwide there was a generation shift from the collection to the activity based center. So in 2013 we have our 48 science centers now. And what happened that we are now making centers for various states and universities in the country, and probably for outside the country also. This is our network which is under NCSM, about 25 science centers. This is, we have a network because we make centers and give it to the states. So it is about 48 plus we have 2 outside. This is the future project. By 2017 we will be covering almost all the parts of India, and if you see there, almost all part of India, underrepresented areas like that, with the science centers and museums will be covered. So this is the government plan that every underrepresented area, every state should have one science museum and science center, because they understand the importance of this particular activity in the country. There is a global problem that people are not going towards science. It is very important for the society. Why they are not going? Because there is a lack of problem in the formal education system. So, non-formal education system, people are opting for that. There are a lot of children who come to Vegas, 2.5 million children, and through our mobile science about another 2.5 million children. So we are trying to focus that area, and we are trying to provide, we are trying to intervene into that and providing such kind of non-formal education setting for the young population of India. These are the major activities of science museums, exhibition and galleries on various things using state-of-the-art technology. We know we have a very strong database, we have a strong research base. So all the things what you see here, it is in-house done. We don't want, because why we do for outside country? Because it's very cheap compared to the West country. If you see, it's about maybe 1/8 or so. What is the cost you pay to the Western museums? We can do less than that. So we are intervening into that, and we are trying to promote, we are trying to do exhibitions and galleries for other places also. Strategic support to other institutions. All over India, they want some kind of museum, some kind of galleries. We have done for several things. And we are not doing only for the science museum, but we are doing for archaeological museums also. We did a gallery, we renovated this gallery for the Indian Museum for the bicentenary. We use the latest technology to display the coin. I've seen many coin display in parts, but I think this is one of the state-of-the-art display which is there. And then we have also a Vivekananda Museum in Archivation, which uses latest state-of-the-art technology for dissemination. So using digital media, we have made this kind of exhibition there. Research and development is our very important tool. We have a full central research and training lab, which looks after every year they try to develop something. Making a 3D film is so expensive, but now we have gone for HD 3D film also. So we are trying to make 3D films on us. I think I could not bring that 3D because it requires glasses. We made, when we are doing an exhibition here, we made a 3D film on Sri Lanka also. So that is available. Probably sometime we can send that thing to you, a 3D film on Sri Lanka. This is the international collaboration. We provide exhibits we set up a full-fledged science center in Mauritius, Rajiv Gandhi Science Center. We did an Indian gallery on Buddhism at Kandy, which is there. You can have a look around there. We also export exhibits to Australia, to Egypt, to Israel, and many other countries. In fact, we have done in various parts of the world, in fact, because our economy is very cheap. And people are opting and we also use the latest state-of-the-art technology, and we basically we are very strong in the content development, so that's why people are coming to us. We also develop international traveling exhibitions. This was India Glimpse of Science in USA, which traveled for 2 years. This is Cricket Connects. Very recently, this year, it was exhibited in South Africa, 5 years ago. This is in Trinidad and Tobago, this is in Bhutan, Bangladesh, many other countries, Germany and other places there. This is the growth of visitors which is there. These are the interventions which we are trying to do. One of the largest mobile science program in the world, in fact, 23 of it, 2.5 million rural children. Non-formal, all kind of activities. In fact, every day in Science Center in India across, we have 1 or 2 programs happening in every part of the world. We bring a lot of celebrities like Sunita Williams or many other people that Nobel laureates to our center, and we are also fabricator of this thing. We can develop and we give it to science museums across. We also do with, now we are going for this sanitation, this water testing in Burdwan, many places. So we are trying to focus on contemporary theme also. This is that we also do a traveling exhibition on contemporary themes, now plant pressure, global warming, river, human genome, so many things. Every year we develop 2 traveling exhibitions across the world. We are pioneer in this science park across the world. Our concept has been taken by Western museums, in fact Western science museums, and they have developed the science park in their country. They have acknowledged this contribution of India. This is because we focus very on human resource development, professional training, enrichment program, and professional seminars are there. We have a very important program which I think all of the members SAARC countries can do. We have a program called Master of Science and Science Communicator inbuilt program. That 2-year degree program is there. We train everything from collection management to the media management to communication and other aspects. So it is an in-house program, and a lot of programs are done for many other countries also here. We have support from that. This is, I think yesterday this was that, but it's an innovation hub, because we found that this 21st century skills are important, and then we focus on that. The Planning Commission also thought about that, and they thought that National Council of Science Museums come into play. In all the science centers across India, we are setting up this innovation hub, this 99.60 crores in 3 years. It's a very major task, but I think already we have started, 5 have started working, and results are coming now. People are students are getting acquainted to that, because the patents, IPR issues and other things are coming up, so I think we are focusing on that also. 2 case studies I will take, that because the digital technology is important, we have about 70% in villages, the rural school children. We have computer aided learning, where we are developing the skills of the teacher in the rural areas to use digital technology, and not only use this science topic but other topics also in other fields. This is that from the state to the Gaon, every year maybe in one state I am thinking about, maybe 1700 teachers, and this 1700 will again go to that. So in another 5 years we have thousands of teachers who will be trained in using this technology. This is again through primary teachers, because we understand this, the primary the phase of the children is very important to impart that kind of science education, because there they can change their skills and other habits. As per our this right to education, now every children has the right to get education. So RTI, that's very important. I think one of the we can say that we have taken this step, and we are trying to focus this primary children, where teacher is become part of that. In fact, they come to our center, they visit, they interact, they develop on language, mathematics, geography, basic astronomy, environment. Testing and practice teaching is there. They also contribute. There is a feedback by the teachers. and then they come there. So I think that's one thing. So I think there is a reason to need to innovate in the field of education and promote learning. And NCSM can play, required, we can help in setting up such kind of programs, such kind of facilities for the countries which are interested to do that. Because we know that this science centers and museums is a very important aspect of that. The collections are there, but we are also trying to inbuilt the modern technologies which are there in the display and other techniques which are there. Because this buzzword of 21st century, I'll just to end with that, we have such kind of initiative because it is happening across. Is there in India, we see that how the things are changing. This is the kind of thing which is happening across. We say that Kabar se Jugaad thing was there, so this kind of thing even we are trying to innovate, many people are trying to innovate. And of course, because the 21st century population is I generation, so we have to focus in that and we have to innovate and we have to do a lot of things about education and learning aspects. Thank you very much for the presentation.
Very good, excellent presentations on science education, not on happiness. So now we are coming to the third paper, Mr. Dr. M.D. Kaur Hussain from Bangladesh. His paper will be on museums in the 21st century, new trends and museum management in Bangladesh National Museum perspective. So I'm very excited about hearing your 21st centuries.
Good morning, everybody. Honorable Chair and honorable delegates, honorable Director of the SAARC Cultural Center, honorable Deputy Director of the Cultural Center, and the media people, Assalamu alaikum. My paper is already cited about the museums in the 21st century. New trends in museum management in Bangladesh national perspective. Bangladesh National Museum is a national institution focused on the collection, preservation, and display of the antiquities, works of arts, pathological specimens, relics connected with the liberation war, struggle of Bangladesh, specimens of flora and fauna, and products of intellectual activities, audiovisual, documentary, evidence, and such other objects and items related to the cultural and natural heritage of Bangladesh, and so on. In 1972, at a discussion, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the father of the nation, gave vivid guidelines concerning the National Museum. BNMA is now being reorganized in accordance with his vision. Bangladesh National Museum was established at Shabad on 17 November in 1983. Incorporating the cultural properties and antiquities of the Dhaka Museum. Dhaka Museum was formally inaugurated by Lord Carmichael in a single room of the old Secretariat building on 7th August in 1913. But it was first opened to the public on 25th August in 1914 within 379 objects on display. Later, the museum was transferred from the old Secretariat building to Baruduari. You will see the audience hall with 12 rows and Dawari means gate house of the Nintoli Kuchi, Nintoli Palace of the Nawab Nizam, Deputy Governor of Dhaka at Nintoli in July 1915. The Dhaka Museum Board of Trustees Ordinance was constituted on 22 April in 1970 to administer the museum as an autonomous institution, later by promulgating the Bangladesh Jatiyo Jadughar, Bangladesh National Museum Ordinance in 1983. On 20 September, all sorts of wealth, antiquities, and officers and employees of the Dhaka Museum were transferred to Guyana. The relics of the cultural heritage of ancient Bengal, representing Hindu, Buddhist, Muslim, and other ethnic communities, the archaeological artifacts and the specimens of the glorious liberation war are the most significant objects of the Bangladesh National Museum. This is the picture you see. The object first is the Valley Buddha, and second in the top, the family sketch, the world famous sketcher Shilpacharya Janal Abidin, and downward is spotted here in Sundarban diorama. We have a good and fine diorama in our National Museum. The last one is the Nakshikatha, you know, the Tankatha. BNM has 4 curatorial departments. The name of the department is Department of History and Classical Art, Department of Ethnography and Decorative Art, and Department of Contemporary Art and World Civilization. And fourth number is Department of Natural History. The museum has enormous collection of historical objects, among these stone and metal sculptures, terracotta plaques, coins, ornaments, Arabic and Persian inscriptions, Sanskrit, Bengali and Arabic Persian manuscripts written on hand-made paper or on palm leaf, and paintings are especially important in ivory, replicas of books, embroidered quilts, nakshikatha, wood carvings, musical instruments, textiles, ceramics, objects of folk arts and crafts. Contemporary arts and crafts, contemporary art and crafts of the world civilization, specimens of natural heritage like flora, fauna, rocks and minerals have been raised to the collection of BNM. All these antiquities are registered digitally through OIS form. Bangladesh National Museum also has Department of Conservation Laboratory, Department of Administration, Finance and Security. BNM controls 5 branches museum. These are Usmani Museum in Sylhet, Ahsan Manzil Museum in Dhaka, and Jia Memorial Museum in Chittagong, Shilpacharya Janal Abidin Sangroshala in Mymensingh, and Kondukiti Joshimuddin Sangroshala is under construction in the district of Foripur. Besides, the project to establish Journal Kangal Hurinath Museum in Kustia. The challenges for a museum are now cyber and physical security of the antiquities, the environment, and so on. BNM has reorganized the galleries and displayed the glorious history of the language movement in 1952. Liberation War in 1971 in the galleries number 38 and 39, 40, so on, that the next generations and foreigners can learn the history and the heritage of Bangladesh. Recently, 2 thematic exhibitions of great interest on liberation struggle of Bangladesh, Bengali, Bangladesh Liberation War and post-liberation of Bangladesh has been installed. Lighting, sound and multimedia show in gallery number 38. There is CD monitors in gallery number 39 and 40. We have kiosk touch screen in other galleries are new inclusions in Bangladesh National Museum in the era of information and communication technology. Documentaries on language movement, liberation war and historical address of 7th March of the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman are shown regularly. BNM has installed new security equipment. The 44 galleries and the boundaries with its surroundings equipped with closed-circuit cameras are always monitored from a control room for ensuring the safety of the museum and its antiquities. All the visitors and the employees are checked through the archway and the metal detectors and decks are scanned through the heavy scanner machine at the main entrance of the museum. In all galleries, burglar alarms marking red colored have been installed to protect the objects from any drawing or harm or theft by the visitors. Moreover, we have to introduce the antiquities of the museum to the visitors. A new workshop for replica and model of the sculptures, paintings and other museum objects has been constructed in 2013. We have conservation laboratory. Conservation laboratory of this museum has been modernized, renovated and developed in 2013 to improve conservation methods, analytical work to study objects, taking measures to biodeterioration, environmental monitoring and rigorous inspection of galleries and stores. Bangladesh National Museum has already launched a dynamic website on its own. You know the website, and so that the mass around the world can get update news and addition to the collection and so on. Besides, the museum has launched 5 customized software such as Object Identification System, Object ID, for the digital inventory of the total antiquities of the museum. Human Resource Information System for the proper management of the personnel, etc. The museum wants to serve the visitors through automation and e-governance. Bangladesh National Museum has already submitted some project proposals to the government to modernize it and make more accessible to the public, making virtual museum to showcase the history, heritage and culture of Bangladesh, installing interactive media in galleries for disseminating the information of the antiques and its history to the public, setting up visitor-friendly special security gate and punch card at every gallery for the proper protection of the antiquities are in the ambit of change for furnish the museum in accordance to the expectation of the public. Finally, the museum will consider the matter of creating visual storage system very soon and how to make the museum open in 24/7 in near future. We have to introduce the ticketing for the visiting of the museum will be introduced within very short time. BNM is extending its activities day by day. It tries to make spaces for various sites of the culture, history, heritage, etc. Like other museums, Bangladesh National Museum, its limitations and challenges, want to review, rethink, and reorganize its activities through best museological practice in the light of new trends in museum management, keeping pace with the museum management trends received by other museums of the world and take its place as the light bearer in the country and abroad. Thank you all.
Exactly, we are following back in almost a Japanese time. So we have now 30 minutes for the floor. So as usual, so whatever you have any questions for these wonderful 3 papers. So I invite, yes please.
Questions to you, Summer and Reggie. Basically, you alluded to non-formal education. The National Council of Educational Research and Training, the NCERT, they have a Center for Educational Technology where that was formally initiated by the NCERT. So, your museum themes, is it linked to what the ministry and the NCERT tells you to do vis-a-vis education, or are you completely autonomous?
Completely autonomous from that. In fact, our Director General is a member of that committee which is there, and then we said that we try to focus on the syllabus of the children which is there, which is fixed by NCERT in India. But we try to do things totally differently. In fact, the children want some kind of different experience. So what we are trying to do that, we are taking the themes from that particular syllabus, and then we are trying to do some kind of activity which is totally different from what they are taught in the schools. The experimentation is totally negligible in the schools at present, which is there. So we have so many programs in our center where we try to focus, we try to cater to that need. So especially during the vocation camps in all the science centers across the country, we have take limited number of batches, but in advance, almost 3-4 months in advance, that programs are booked by the children. So they want to experiment some kind of thing. But we have a linkage with them. You know, recently, Government of India, Ministry of HRD is trying to launch so many programs. The Rashtriya Avishkar Abhiyan is there, which is going to there, which is connected with the innovation. We have taken forward in that way. We have setting up because innovation labs, what we are trying to do is that we are trying to give some kind of facilities for the children. Again, it goes to the schools, because schools are overburdened with their own curriculum. So we try to provide in different way in a science center where we have dedicated staff, and we have very structured format for this innovation hub. We have kind of mentors which are there. We are trying to engage retired people who have passion for such kind of education, science education. It's not only connected with science, it's connected with everything. If they find something which is related to their normal civic life or anything, we are trying to focus the local needs of that particular center. For example, in a center in Tiruchirappalli or in Tirunelveli in southern district, their requirement is different from the requirement in that north part of the India or the eastern part of India. So we're trying to focus on that. I think some of the successes coming up in Guwahati we have tried to do. They are just for the blind people, how you can turn the pages without that. So we have developed in Innovation Hub, the students have developed such kind of mechanism. So right from the early stage, they may be talk about that, because the Government of India has announced by the Prime Minister on 15th August, the Digital India campaign is there. So to make the children aware about that, and then also lead to that innovation which is there, because we are targeting that 65% population below 35 years of age. So we are trying to create a kind of bridge between them, and the science center is taking that major role in that.
I want to introduce the e-ticket also. It's very interesting. We don't have the e-ticket, and you give that the concept when I say the e-ticket. And can you elaborate about the virtual museum? Virtual museum, just you went through in your paper. Virtual museum and e-ticketing, very briefly.
And my question is to Mr. Samanendra Kumar. In fact, I am very much impressed with the paper, sir. One thing I would like to know from you, that are you organizing any programs in vacation especially for the students to know more about the astronomy like that in practical sense, so that they can get a wide vision on this? Are you organizing?
We also develop low-cost planetarium for the many countries in fact now. We have very strong R&D research and development in that, and we are pioneering a very
about the 50-seater planetarium, 80-seater planetarium, because if we go to the other centers, other planetarium sellers, it's going to millions in that, and we are very low cost, we have done that. For that purpose, we have this strong base that we conduct a lot of astronomy awareness programs throughout the year. In fact, we have every weekend, Saturday, Sunday, the astronomy observation programs are organized in all the science centers in the country. So astronomy is one of the focus, and I have to tell you that we also conduct the Astronomy Olympiad program in India, and through our camps. In fact, a lot of gold medals and silver medals have been won by participants of our camp, which is held in Bombay, and through all over the country we do that. So astronomy is one of the major focus in that, and we do that because we have 3 planetariums under us. 8 planetariums we have set up in many other parts, and if any of the member countries want to set up a low-cost planetarium, NCSM can help them in setting up this low-cost planetariums in there.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Karan Ratna from Sri Lanka. As an astronomer, I feel very happy that you have such a strong astronomy program with the Science Day. Sri Lanka also has wanted to do a science museum in Sri Lanka, but unfortunately it has been in the planning stages, I think, for about 20 or 30 years, and it has still not materialized. My question is that how much are you managing to get rid of the concept of astrology, the difference between astronomy and astrology? I have a document here published by the National Research and Development Council of Sri Lanka, which talks about the needing to develop astrology in this country. So, are you achieving something to succeed to remove that difference?
I would like to tell you that we have a very strong program which is called Science and Superstitions Awareness Program. And one of this topic that regarding astrology is a part of that. Probably in Science Center we totally disagree with this argument, and what we do that we conduct several programs throughout the year, especially in the rural areas, try to bring about that, the distinction between astrology and astronomy. And through this science awareness program, this astronomy awareness program, we also try to conduct such kind of awareness. So I think we don't subscribe to that astrology was there in that way, because we have some stories for that, I think, and we have also invited a lot of senior people in that, and a lot of astronomy educators like Dr. Nalika, who was there. So he discussed amongst the children about this aspect, that the astronomy, basic astrology is that it depends on your birth time and like that, but you cannot predict the birth time as such. So everything changes from that itself. So basically astronomy is a very strong base, and we try to propagate this, the ancient science of astronomy, especially in the Jaina and the Buddhism literature what we have found, because we have set a very strong gallery on scientific and technological heritage of India. And India at that time, when it was 2005, it was a combination of all these from Pakistan to other places. So what are the traditions of that? From that we are trying to build up, and probably through this our program on astronomy awareness, we try to just distinguish the myth between the reality kind of thing. So I think I think nowadays children don't believe. In fact, if we have done such kind of surveys, probably the elders believe much more on this astrology compared to the young children. So the tradition, probably in another 10-15 years, probably it will change. The shift will be there. Probably the astrology, because I think there is a market-driven economy also. The stones cannot be sold because of this concept. So I think it is very important. And we discussed about that. If the stone was so important for us, then probably everybody can wear the stone and all the problems will be solved. So how it can be done that way? And we try the students realize that kind of thing, the young students which they are doing. So I think we have a very strong program for this. Especially if I'm in rural areas, we have a lot of myths, and so in India also is there. In India, in many villages, in the tribal areas, the many other areas is there. And we have a very strong program, and we have faced so many resistance in that. You will not believe that, probably you must have heard that, and that was internationally, that Ganesha drinking milk, probably it was worldwide. And on the same day, we did a program. That was in the afternoon, and I was there in Bombay, I think I remember, I was in Bombay. A lot of milks were being offered in the temple. And in the evening we conducted a program because we find that the contemporary things, if we take immediately and bring it to the national television, as a science communicator, it's our role to bring about what is the thing. And then we demonstrated that why it is happening. Why it is happening, you can do this kind of experiment with any idol as such. It's not only Ganesha thinking well. So we strongly intervened into that, and we were able to convince a lot of people. So that way. So I think these are the things which are trying. Again, it happened in Bandra, Mahim, that suddenly the water was turned sweet, and a lot of people flocked that area and tried to take a small can of water from that Mahim Creek area. Again, that was a superstition kind of thing. I was involved into one activity in Bombay. There was a house which told that suddenly that there was a Ganesh idol which started vibrating at a certain point of time. And then there was a lot of offering and other things which are coming up there. When we, 2-3 people, a group was made, and then we tried to investigate into that. We found that it was on the second floor of the building, and it was made from the old structure. It was a very old structure. And when the bus used to pass, or any vehicle used to pass, the whole building shook. Right? And then we tried to convince that a lot of people there. Then I think this is the kind of thing what we try to create with our various program.
And now we can conclude, because I believe in karma, because it has prolonged quite long, that I will be born as a hungry ghost next life, because everybody is waiting for the food. So this is my karma, because then I'm really failing to control the time. Then what consequences? I will be born as a hungry ghost. So, but very interesting, I've done a lot of new subjects today. For example, like a science education, Mr. Kumar and Anil from the Antiquities Act and the seminar on antiquities and virtual museums, whatever, from my training. So I think it's very interesting and special. I became so fascinated, interested in belief and science, spiritual and I don't know what you call spiritual and modern, I don't know what you call technology, but it should go like not parallel, should be really like a spiritual, and all these activities should become union, like a compassion and wisdom. So Buddha said that the truth can be seen by unwavering faith, not intellectual. So that's why it's intellectual. If you keep on, then maybe sometimes we cannot see the truth. So if I have a jade or turquoise in my hand, you have to trust. You have not seen the turquoise in my hand until unclench my fist. So that's why you have to believe that is the truth. That is not really, you have not seen the really turquoise, but you have to believe that's the turquoise. So we have to certain, I'm not against your science education, but a certain superstitions helps very much, especially in terms of giving protections the environment. These trees are very important, and residents of spirit or mountain Everest or high mountains are residents of what we call the gods and goddesses. So we don't climb, we don't conquer the outer object phenomena. Better to conquer our own mind, I think. That's why I think best solutions. What we are having problem in the world is just we are trying to conquer on the outside, not inside. So that's why if we really, I like this, you think globally and act locally. That is really interesting, very similar to Buddha's message. Anyhow, thank you very much. So if you really allow me to speak, I will keep on speaking like a Jewish woman. So thank you very much. So I have to stop now here. All the best, and have a nice, wonderful meal to make us happy.